Unga, unga, boonga, 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 boonga. What's going on, guys? It's Cops, aka Beast Beats, and today we are going to go over not too much of the deck because the profile is already out. I know a bit of y'all have seen it already on goatformat.com YouTube page, so definitely feel free to check that out. I'll leave it in the description below. This is my top 8 Earth Aggro deck from the Goat Grand Prix Austin, Texas that took place June 3rd, 2023, so a couple of Saturdays ago. I meant to put this up a little earlier, but it's probably better that I upload it after the profile because I'm basically going to be going over the rounds of the tournament. It was a great event. I'll be doing shout outs at the end. Met a lot of amazing people at the event that I've talked to for years on Discord, but something about finally meeting like the people in real life that just it's the reason for everything, right? Like if you're using no romantic relationship with anyone there, just an example, but like when you're using dating apps, the point is not to just message them online forever. It's to eventually meet up in person and get to experience, the face-to-face. And it's just it's, I guess, part of the human experience, right? So I'll quickly skim over it. You overheard these goblin boys talking about how they were happy with topping. This one was happy topping. This one in the middle was like, we should have made it to first. And this third one was like, hey, we didn't make it to first, but we did some good work. So that's what they were talking about at the beginning there. So yeah, 3 goblins. These guys, 2300 normal is pretty crazy. It goes to defense for a while, but that's a chump blocker. It's Rhoda searchable. It's an Earth for its partner in crime, Gigantes, which does not go to defense. It is a respectable 1900 stat line with 1300 defense. So if it gets put face down, but like Sook, still can't attack over it unless it's like a Dekoichi or something bigger. And then if they do attack over it, if they have any backer, they're going to have to use it or lose it. So granted, most of Turbo's backer is chainable, but beggars can't be choosers. Just a good extender to put in more damage and more pressure. 3 rats replaces itself. Good, decent stat line. Speaking of that Dekoichi earlier, if they flip it, you can crash into it and grab Lily. Try to get in for 34 at the cost of 2k. Also at 1500 defense, nothing to laugh at. There's like times where a couple times I think I set this against like Turbo or something because I'm like, they're not attacking over this with anything except Breaker, Tribe, Tribute, Thunder Dragon, Chaos kind of thing. Like none of their flips are attacking over this, so it felt okay to set in a couple situations. Level 2, you don't usually rat into this, but it's just a good anti-turbo, anti-flip card. And then the exiled, just pop a set, pop a squat. No, pop like a chaos monster. Just a great Rhoda. Or it didn't. I don't think I ratted into this also too often, but it's a possibility. Then we have the DD guys. War Lady, even though it's not Earth, is just so, in my opinion, better than Assailant in the sense that it can deal with Sangans, Serpents, Recruiters, defense position spies, defense position, chaos monsters, things of that nature. While Assailant here cannot deal with those, cannot banish those particular situations. Still a great card though, 17, couple hundred extra attack points. Rhoda searchable, Earth, because it's not always going to get its effect. Which means if it doesn't get its effect, it's later Gigantes, fuel, or you can bring it back with your revivals. So I like 2 assailant. Some builds do 3. It's probably fine to do 3, but in the testing I did, I found 2 to be okay. And then we got the breaker, the honorable warrior. I'd play this in basically every deck. Then we got 2 spy. I explained that in the video. Like, if it gets knocked, that's great. If not, you got 2K walls yourself that also happen to have 1200 attack, which is a decent stat line. So you can start attacking with both of them. You can't fear the sweepers, and don't fear the reaper. Right? We got outs to that card in here too. We got 2 rotas, 4th and 5th Trinity piece, Lee Trinity. I talked about potentially not playing duo. I do think it's really good, but potential. I didn't name any potential. I think I said torrential, but there was a lot of awesome comments on that deck profile already, just after one day of it being uploaded. So thank you guys. I'll definitely leave a comment on that video myself, but I appreciate all the love. Some of those comments are really kind, and it's it's awesome to know the impact that that GoForMud.com's channel and my channel has had on the community, and all the other, there's a lot of other great Goat and retro Yu-Gi-Oh channels. Janjo Zone, Necromancy for Kids. I miss Yu-Gi-Oh Scrub. You call him Bailey. I haven't seen him. I don't think he's uploaded in a very long time, but there's just too many to name. Return Winner, Puri, JDZ. I could sit here and name a bunch of YouTube channels, but Mangoes really suck. No, yeah, just so many great channels out there. And then, I didn't finish that thought. I'm like scatterbrained. So maybe final attack orders. I don't know. I kind of want to test that card. That's a card that wasn't in the cut, but I kind of want to mess around with a little bit. If we do final attack orders, I'd be a little hesitant. I might replace the spies for like Berserk Gorillas, just because I like the card a lot. I don't know if that's a good or bad move though. Would have to require just testing and finding out. Then we got, of course, heavy MST. We'd play more of these if we could. Snatch and Prima, crazy cards. 3 smashing. I don't know if we play a 4th, maybe. I know there's Lightning Vortex, but for a similar reason, while Tribe is in the side, I'm hesitant on the Vortex. That feels a little unnecessary, but it could be good, especially with Goats getting popularity. Of course, on that same note, something like a Sure Priest has a little potential if Goats starts to surge in popularity as opposed to like Turbo Warrior. Of course, you're always going to see Turbo and Warrior, though. Those decks have definitely solidified their place in the top of the tier list. Speaking of Turbo, 2 knocks, for those flip decks, and just a great card to get things out of the way, get in for damage. Shout out to Ring of Destruction, ROD, you already know, shout that out like every video. Great Yu-Gi-Oh team. I know we got a lot of Ed heads, or been more on the Ed head side in there recently, but we got some Goat people. Randage is back, and he's doing good in a Goat tournament right now. We just need Adam, AJT, BLS, come back to Rod, and we'd be unstoppable in Goat and Edison. Anywho, we got Mirror Force, Sweeper. We got 2 mini Mirror Forces. Helps like protect the Goblin, even though it can't change until literally not the turn after, but the turn after, like the end of your next turn. So it's like, this protecting it is not necessarily going to happen, but like it's happened in testing before. Like they didn't have a monster the turn after I swung with it, and then they had just 1 monster the turn after that, so I was able to battle trap it and then switch this back for another potential 23 threat. Then we got Call, which is just I can't call it Prima because it's a trap. It could be used like in a way where it's like you attack with level 2, and they use Regeki Break or a Sakuretsu or Mirror Force or Ring on it, and you're like, oh, you really want to protect this set monster. So in the battle phase, still you can flip the call, get back to level 2, and swing again, and hopefully deal with their Magician of Faith or Spy or whatever their set guy is. And then 3 Dust Tornado. Just to clear back row, the like set a spell trap from your hand occasionally has come up. I don't think too much. I think in the tournament at one point I did it and end phased, like opponent's end phased, hit something and then set my call from hand, so I could use it on my turn. But you could also use it to help play around duo a little bit, like have 2 cards in your hand, one that's like a power spell or something, or another trap, and they delinquent duo, and then you dust something, even if it has to be the duo itself, worst case scenario, and then set the card from your hand you want to keep, so that they pay 1,000 and just hit the 1. Or of course, if you had 2 and 2 spell traps in your hand, I guess that doesn't happen though, and these are pretty niche situations, but they are possible. So Dust Tornado, good against Warrior Burn, that kind of thing, and even end phasing turbos, chainable sets. For the side, we had the level 2, which is a second one for turbo, even though they tend to side out some of their flips for more aggro monsters. So I don't know. Moving forward, I'm also thinking about a couple other cards. Well, I'm out to say it because why not let people know some of the knowledge. I'm thinking about Skill Drain in this deck. I like side decking it for chaos control and turbo mostly, I think, because if you do the Skill Drain route, I don't think you need the second level 2, and then again, I'd probably do like gorillas instead of spies, and then like with like Skill Drain final attack order, I know it's like continuous trap, so it kind of, those are vulnerable to certain removals, but and of course the Gigantes would still blow everything up that you, like all your continuous traps if it's destroyed by battle. But I guess the point of Skill Drain is like chaining it to either attack, using it when battle step, attacking into a flip. This guy would stay in attack mode at all times, which means you have that 2300 pressure constantly without them just summoning a Sangan or Serpent or anything and attacking over it. Obviously, Lily gets a little worse. Assailant, and Breaker, Warrior Lady, a little iffy if you have a Skill Drain up. Exiled still works. Rats still work. Goblins get a lot better. Again, if these were gorillas, that'd be good outside of well, and even the spy they have when it get its effect, and then if you have one of your 3 smashings, or a goblin can get over the 1 spy in defense they have. So I don't know, Skill Drain has potential. It would kind of change things a little. It helped with the Thousand Eyes matchup a lot though. And then 2 Mind Cons. This card was great against, I played against, well again I'm going to go over the rounds. So Turbo, and just flip decks. It's pretty much the only thing I put it in against. Same with these 3 Death Shoots. Also for Turbo. Every time I resolved it, it felt really good. Which was just, I think like 3 or 4 times, but it's such a great card against the Turbo matchup. And I'm trying to think, there's probably another, like potentially against, I've heard people say to put this in against Reasoning Gate. And I guess potentially, it just depends on what you decide to take out and in versus what kind of Reasoning Gate deck it is. Like these are probably coming in against Reasoning Gate. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about that maneuver. I haven't done it much, but it might be okay against that deck, even though it's mostly spells. And then we have Kinetic Soldier, the one of for warrior mirror match type strategies. Rat target. Didn't play any warrior or aggro or mirror match decks, so didn't put it in. But it has tested decently against those strategies. 2 Decree for Panda Burn mostly, but also could put it in against like Warrior that has like a dozen trap cards. You could even consider Turbo if they put in like a bunch of battle traps, honestly. But it didn't really come in, I don't think, during the tournament. Should it have against like games 2 or 3 against the Turbo or the Control when they put in more battle traps? Well, especially if you aren't sure going into game 2, but then you're going into game 3 and you saw it in game 2. Maybe, honestly, I don't know. It's you just have to use your better judgment, I guess, and decide on this. But I think it's a pretty good card because you have a bunch of big guys, and if there's no battle traps, mirror, torrential that they can use, you can really get the edge on them. Then we got Cliff, the Boy Wonder. This is for Panda Burn mostly, but didn't play against it, so didn't come in. The 3 King Tigers came in though. This sucker, great against, of course, goats. So any goat deck, I would just slam this in. It's also good for burn, for reasoning gate. Didn't play against either of those, but I like the king. He's also earth. 17 is a decent stat line. Also stops not only the goats, but Suki only would be destroyed. The Thousand Eyes Restrict, that kind of thing. Then we have Tribe Infecting Virus. I still wanted this somewhere, as I said in the profile. Good at clearing, Thousand Eyes, goats. Good against burn, discard, and clear beast, and things of that nature, like the Ojama tokens. It came in also against the control decks. You could honestly, main it if you wanted, if you didn't want to do like the spy strategy, or it's probably the only. I feel like these are the biggest flex spots in the monster lineup, because I feel like all of these other ones are just pretty dang good in this deck. So I feel like these two would be the first to kind of mix around if you wanted to try again, like Berserk Gorilla, Tribe Infecting, Giant Orc, even though it's not Earth. A second level 2 in the main. If your locals has a lot of warriors, 1 kinetic in the main, that kind of thing. But I mean, Spy is good against warriors too, so I'm not sure. That'd be your call. And then speaking of, well, not, I guess this isn't call, but Dark Death Spirit. This is mostly for burn as well. Right? It's if you have like a monster on the board that's not an Ojama token, and then you're clogged with Ojama tokens, and it's just kind of like they have like a panda or something, they're getting in. You can normal Dark Death destroy everything out. Their guys, your tokens, everything, and just kind of get a board reset against Panda Burn. That can be really nice. Against Goat Control or Chaos Control with like any goat deck, it's not too bad. I didn't personally, and again maybe I should have put it in some of those situations, but clearing like Thousand Eyes and all the goats, attacking for 22, returns to your hand. The only problem obviously is if it takes you off of pressure, or like there are some conflicts I feel with this card when it comes to the Chaos or Goat Control matchup, is that it could be nice, obviously, returns to your hand if all they really have going for them is the like Thousand Eyes, creature swap type cards. But games 2 or 3, when this is in, they're probably also putting in additional beaters for your strategy. So if you drop this and clear the ghosts, that's awesome. You get in for your 22, and then it returns to your hand, and then they summon a Berserk Gorilla and attempt to attack you for 2k, and now you don't have probably like, unless you have like a set spy already or something on the field, right? You're not gonna have like probably any monster on the field. I guess you could drop a Gantes after clearing with this, but I don't know. Just the same reason this deck doesn't play Torrential is why I think Dark Death sometimes gets awkward, where you want a bunch of guys putting a bunch of pressure, and this takes away from that, except, again, in the Panda Burn matchup, where it just becomes a little bit of a different game plan. or like like using like the little guys like Cliff in level 2, just get in for little damage, trying to land a King Tiger to block their tokens, whatnot, and then this is kind of like a nice last minute bomb, or when your board gets clogged, that you can drop. So again, mostly Panda Burn is what this guy was for, but you could also consider Amazonas Archer, which I've thought about. And then a last tech card and I've thought about is like Protector of the Sanctuary, which I saw Match TCG mention that on the comments, but Madcap, I think it was, that replied to him, had good reasoning as to why like it's not the best in this deck, is it's only 1100 attack. It's got a decent defense line, but if you set it and then they activate Pot Graceful, all that, you're like, wow, I should have just summoned the Protector. And against Turbo, maybe just summoning it is fine, especially if you have some kind of protection. At 1100, at least gets over their like Decoichi and like 1000 flips, which is like the best case scenario, right? They go first, they set Decoichi, pass, and you draw, and you summon Protector and attack over it. Now they won't draw from the Decoichi, and they can't use Pot Graceful, Upstart, Jar. Well, they can use Jar in the draw phase, but that's it. So Protector of the Sanctuary and like a Trap Deshu, I could see being pretty decent. Because they'll be forced to use their Jar early, and then you can Deshu after they use the Jar, and the Protector won't let them use any of their other draw cards. So I didn't test it, but I could see some potential in it. Because it is a 1100 Rat Earth target with a decent butt. Now that I did like a whole friggin' another probably longer deck profile than I did on the GoFormat.com's thing, let's go into the rounds. So if you stuck around this long, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Just so much love at that event. It was, it's why we play the game, right? Hopefully, at least I like the paper. I like paper much more than online, personally. But I understand some people, are in locations or situations where they just aren't able to play in paper. And so it's nice that the online scene exists for the sake of just getting to play at it's free, right? As long as you have internet connection, and it can be convenient. Of course, they're got the dueling book lag, but we're not going to get into the downsides of it. So I had some notes here. Let's see. So we have Goat Grand Prix Austin, Texas. Round 1, my opponent was Smoky Dragoon. He was my ride to the event. We stayed in a hotel, playtesting a bit the night before. I'll mention, I guess, real quick, I didn't playtest this deck. I was just helping them playtest against other decks. I had never played this deck in paper before the event. Not once. It was freshly sleeved. My only testing was like 30, I think technically like 31 matches online with it. And 30 of them were ranked matches, and I went 25-5 in the ranked ladder. Not on beast speeds, but an alt account. And it was, over 80% win ratio, so I was like, let's run it. And it did well. So round 1 was against, Smoky Dragoon. He was playing Horus Control. So like Horus, like a King Dragoon Turbo. It was like 3 metas, 3 Fuselers, Scapegoats, Horus level 6. And at one point he got out, he tributed over his Thousand Eyes for a level 6, attacked over my face-up Spy, and I didn't have an answer. Then he went into level 8. This was after we drew and passed for a while, because Thousand Eyes I couldn't cleanly out at the time. And then I had 2 set monsters. I had a level 2 set, a DD Assailant set, and on my turn, I set a Goblin Attack Force or something. I just wanted, because he had like Reaper, 3 Goat tokens, and Horus level 8. So I was like, I gotta start, getting ready to, once I out this level 8, to attack all his goats. I think I had like a Smashing for his Reaper, or either a Snatch or a Smashing, and like another spell. But he had Horus level 8, so I couldn't use any spells. And so I had the level 2 set, the DD Assailant set, the Goblin set. He drew. He was like, I just gotta. He felt, he's tired of the draw pass, so he's like, let's get in. Just with the horse, the goats and reaper or whatnot were in defense, but he went battle. He rolled a dice to decide what to attack with the level 8, and so again, he could have attacked level 2 or goblin, which would suck for me a little bit because I had more like another monster or two in my hand, but he ends up attacking the DD assailant like right away, or like the second, basically right away with his level 8. So his level 8 gets banished, and then from there, either the turn or 2 turns after, I'm able to like come back and win. His set was also Mirror Force, but I like heavied it later, so and then attacked with everything and just got the W there. That was in like I think game 1, and then I won game 2. He kind of bricked, and we just went in and reduced his life to 0. So 2-0 in round 1 against Smoky Dragoon and Horus Control. Round 2 was, I think their Discord's L Wizard. They were on, I believe, a Chaos Control deck. And their deck profile, this person will be on the top 8, so you'll see their deck profile. But in round 2, I won game 1. I think they had like flipped some goats, so it was took a bit longer than this deck wants it to take. And then because again it took longer because the goats and 1,000 eyes whatnot, we went into time, and this is the only time that I went into time in the whole event. Only 40-minute rounds, so a little quick with the time there, and so we went into time in game 2, and I remember we were like, I have all the life points written down from the games. I was at 5,000 and they were at 4,100. And I had Premature Burial, and I knew, like, since we're about to be in a time, that I probably shouldn't even activate it. But I decided to I decided to activate it because I would still be 100 above them. And I targeted, like, I think Lily or something. And I thought, let's just go for game. And I attacked, and then I believe it was like a scapegoat or something that like, so they didn't take any damage that turn because I had like Lily and Tribe, I think, or something. And so then on their turn, I had a Mirror Force set also. And on their turn, they summoned. And then at some point it was like we were in time, so turn 0, 1, 2, 3, and they were turn 3, so they were the last turn of time, and they summoned Chaos Orc and tried to attack over my tribe to put me below them because I was now at 4,200 to their 4,100, but I Mirror Forced their Sork and that was it. So I won in time by 100 life points. I don't really like winning in time. Like, it just doesn't feel, as Shaggy Power said, doesn't feel like Yugioh all the time. When you can win with them, especially if you go to sudden death and you win with a Mystic Walk, which, anyway. Round 3, so I was 2-0 in round 2, and now we're going to round 3. My opponent is AJTBLS, aka Adam, former Ring of Destruction member. He was playing Chaos Turbo. I think he's ranked 1 in the world for GOAT right now, so, just the best player ranked in the world, not playing against in real life for the first time. It was fun. A nice experience. Although game 1 was not a real game, he'll tell you himself. My hand, I remember this pretty vividly, my hand was Goblin Attack Force, Gigantes, Heavy, Saku. And I lost the die roll, so he went first. He T-set pass. I draw, and that's my opening 6. Like, well, let's just summon Goblin and swing. Let's start getting things done. I summon Goblin, attack. He activates Phoenix Wind Blast. I can't remember what he discards, but pitches something to put Goblin back on top. So Goblin is now on top of the deck. And my hand is again Saku, Heavy, Gigantes, Goblin. I set 1 Saku and just pass. Not thinking that his set monster is what it was. And of course, he had to draw exactly what he draws for turn. I pass. He draws for turn. Delinquent Duo is what he draws for turn. He activates MST on my Saku, destroys it. He activates Delinquent Duo. I think he like said sorry about this, or something, because he delinquents, hitting, and then just shows me Flip Faith. His set was turn 1 Faith, no spells engrave. And he duos again, and I have 0 cards on field, 0 cards in hand. He summons Tribe, hits for 19, sets Ring of Destruction and passes. I draw Goblin, I summon Goblin, he rings Goblin. We both take 23. He draws like summon, attack, attack, attack. I draw like I think a dead card and I lose. The only way that could have been played different is if it was played wrong, in my opinion. Just immediately heavy as Wind Blast. Just heavy the set, summon Goblin, attack. That is like the only way that you could have played around that sort of maneuver. But I did not expect that. And against Turbo, imagine you being heavy and the set is a Jar Greed. Like, or a Dust Shoot. Like, you're gonna look so dumb, right? It just happened to be a Wing Blast. It just happened to draw a duo for turn with the Faith from their spell set. It just didn't work out. I didn't have knock, didn't have any way to get to level 2 exile kind of thing. So that was game 1. And then game 2, I won. It looks like I had 6,000 left. Got him to 0, so we just Earth aggroed him down. Game 3, it was pretty close. I had him down to like 34. Like I had Dust Shooted his hand, and I managed to get through a Kinetic Soldier, which I didn't expect. But then he got me. He had a second Kinetic Soldier, and I had a level 2 out. That was putting in some work. But then he summons. We're kind of in a low resource situation. He summons a second Kinetic, attacks over my level 2, bring me down from like 36 to 1150. I think it looks like. That 3350 minus 900. And then I draw an out to it. I out the Kinetic. But then I need him not to draw a monster with 1150 attack, and he draws the Koichi for turn and kills me. So and that was game 3. But so we're 1-2 against Adam. So now we're 2-1 in Swiss. Round 4, we end up going against another Chaos Turbo player. His name's Chase. This was a messy match. I don't want to get too much into this. I tried to illegally activate Delinquent Duo, saying he was at 11, but he was at 1,000. Beats me game 1, bunch of Trinity cards, but it was actually close. Again, he was down to 1,000 life. And then game 2, I win. And then game 3, he does bricks a bit, and I just... Actually, it looks like I was at 8,000 at the end of game 3, and he just took all these hits. My giant rat I just had monsters that I kept attacking with, and he didn't have ways to deal with the monsters I had. So, and I heavied him for, he set Book, Sunlight, Jar, or I think that's what the sets were. It was Book, Sunlight, and something else. Might have been Jar, and I just heavied all 3, and he just didn't have the resources from that point. So. That was round 4. Round 5 was against Mercenary V or Sean. He's on the Discord, one of AJT's partners in the Safari Zone. He was on Chaos Turbo as well, so it's three Chaos Turbos in a row here. We lose game 1. I think I should have played more aggressively. I didn't deal with the spies fast enough and let him steamroll into advantage, so I think I misplayed a bit game 1, but it doesn't mean I would have won it, but definitely probably could have played that one better. I win game 2. I wrote down Dust Shoot is strong. Yeah, I think I Dust Shooted his hand into his Ring, Torrential, Wind Blast, BLS, 2 Thunder Dragons, and I had put back his one Dark monster, and I remember saying to him, I hope that BLS doesn't, because he killed me with BLS, I think, game 1. And so I was like, I hope that BLS doesn't come back to kill me. And he upstarts, puts me at 9k, and it's, then he rings something, and we both go down in life. And I remember he summons BLS and hits me down to 4K. And he's at 46. And in my hand, I have like a monster snatch, and like something else. Like I got past his torrential, past his wing blast. I knew his hand was 2 Thunder Giants. I knew his set was basically. I feel like I think I got to where I knew his only set card. The only thing it could have been was Ring of Destruction, and I was at 4K. He was at 46. So I was like, all right, summon like it was like Goblin or something, snatch. And hold on, yeah, and that's 53. I mean, it could have, or maybe it was DD Assailant, which is 47. It was some combination, some monster that was like, doesn't matter what you ring, that game 2 is over. So we go into game 3, and we go back and forth a while. We end up like in a top deck situation, and I just barely managed to win the top deck situation. At the end, I was like down to 2100 to his 1400. He had like Berserk Gorilla, and I drew like Assailant, and then I drew something to finish the 1400 he had off. I remember at one point I had like DD Warrior Lady and like something else, and he had like 2 back row. That's right, he was at 38, and I had DD Warrior Lady and like Goblin, and I was like, I remember like shaking my head and like, if you had 2 back row, I don't think Mirror was gone yet, and I was just I don't even know if Torrential was gone, but I don't know if either one sweeper or both sweepers were left, but I was like, let's just go for it. Summon the DD, no Torrential, I attack, and it wasn't Mirror. He had to use like a discard trap, and it was discard. It was either Saku or discard trap and MST. So it was a good thing I went in and forced him to use his cards, because I figured let's go for it. Because I think I was at like 39 or something at that point myself. So we won round 5. So now we are 4-1 in Swiss, and on to the final round, round 6. This was against a local player who you'll also see his deck profile on GoatFormat.com's channel. His name is Vic. He was playing like a goat control kind of list. And game 1, I managed to take it. It's always a miracle when you get game 1 against goat or chaos or goat control type decks like with this, because the goats and 1,000 eyes can be really hindering or like slow the game down at times. But at one point, like when we were nearing the end of the game, I remember activating Delinquent Duo, and I hit for his 2 cards, and I knew one was Tsukiyomi, but the other one was BLS, and I was like, oof. And I think that was definitely for sure won me that game. So speaking of duo, right, one definitely prevented the BLS from coming down. So, and then game 2, I of course decided my King Tigers and everything, and I just managed to pull through. Got him. I think I was down. Yeah, at the end it was 4,000, and he dropped down eventually to 0. So we somehow pulled through with another 2-0 against a control deck, which is always good. And I was telling him, because we're good friends, and I was like, "You're gonna top 2, man." And luckily he did. So he made it to top. But of course, if you want to know the whole top 8, that'll be on the GGP breakdown on the GoatFormat.com site. So check that out. And so my Swiss record was 5-1. Those are the rounds. I feel like I'm rambling now. I'm starting to rhyme. I ain't clowning around. Alright, no, I'm not going to start freestyling. Something I do want to practice a little bit, because I think it's kind of fun. But it definitely takes practice. Freestyling is not, especially quick-witted and on a beat, some kind of beat, but even if it's a cappella, to stay on time is it just takes practice. Just gotta start doing it over and over. Shout out to Harry Mack. Not even, Yugioh related, but such one of the best freestyles I've ever heard. Anyway, we got the top 8 rounds, right? So the final, spoiler. Didn't mean to spoil that, but if you're this far in the video, I don't think you care about spoilers. we're into my first top 8 round, and it's against, again, El Wizard. So my round 2 opponent is my first top 8 opponent. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, can I do it again? I got him 2-0 barely in time, and I was like, I wanted to go to at least to game 3, right? Because I like when matches go to game 3 because it just kind of feels more back and forth. But I'm kind of thinking it's not the best matchup for my deck, but I didn't let that get me down too much. I was like, well, we did 2-0 though in the earlier, so let's just do what our deck does and let's run it, right? And I lose game 1, and I don't know if there was much different I could have done. I can't really remember game 1 too well. Game 2, I think there was one thing I could have done different that would have changed things. And I wrote it down. So he has like almost no resource. He is like just a set monster, and I have set spy, and so I flip my spy. So I have 2 attack position spies. I normal King Tiger, and then I special Gigantes. In my hands, like Snatch and Smash or something, like 2 good, and I think a monster. I think it's like 2 good spells and a monster or something like that. And he has no, I think he has no back row, and so I attack it with Spy, hoping it's not Spy himself, because nothing else gets over Spy anyway, and it ends up being Dekoichi, so he draws, and then I hit him for 12, 17, 19. I drop him down from, I think he was at like 7K because he duoed me. So he was from 7K down, I got him down at 2200 at some point. And I was like, all right, I got Spy, King Tiger, Gigantes with like Snatch and Smash and like Monster or something in my hand. Because like I feel good. He has, like 5-6 cards in hand, he draws. Like as long as he doesn't have some, really powerful cards, like in my head I'm thinking, please no Tribe. He normal summons Tribe. And I'm like, okay. I don't react in real life, I don't think. But in my head I'm like, yep, there it is. And he doesn't even like pitch called Spellcaster or anything. He also has Snatch Steal. Speakers Tribe, pitch Thunder Dragon or something called Rock, Snatch King Tiger, attack, set Saku, pass. And now the game's completely flipped, and eventually I lose. So I got 2-0'd. So now I 2-0'd him in Swiss, but he 2-0'd me in single elimination top cut. So I'm out, and that's it. Good games, well played. I think I could have done different. I probably didn't have to drop the Gigantes there. Just hit for 12 and 17 and save like the Snatch, Smash, Gigantes, whatever other monster for next turn to try and end the game if he didn't have back row again, or if I could clear it, or I wouldn't fear it. I wouldn't fear Mirror there. Anyways, it was just the Saku, not Mirror. But now we got reversaled by Tribe Snatch. I mean that happens, right? So yeah. Overall, I feel good about the run. I don't think I made too many mistakes. Definitely probably a couple, but it's a learning experience. And now for the shoutouts. If you got this far, this is the end of a probably longer than I wanted it to be video as usual. But no, I like kind of my verbose discussion. It was a great event, so I want to talk about it, right? So here's the shoutouts. So it was hosted by TokenBlacks. Shout out to him. My deck, long version of this deck profile, longer than the GoatForMed.com, should be on his channel. Hopefully he watches this and comments, because I think I can find his channel, but hopefully he can just comment something so you can go to his channel and check the profile out on his YouTube. He was the host of the event again. Check out his Yugioh mixtapes if you like rap. He's got like a trap card mixtape, trap card 2, and I think trap card 3 is coming soon. Music to dual buy, as he says, so check that out. It was hosted at the Bell Gaming Center in Round Rock, Texas, which is, Round Rock's very close to Austin. But if it was called the Goat Grand Prix Round Rock, no one, if you're not from Texas, you have no idea what that is probably. But yeah, so it's a cool little, cool place to chill. we still need a bigger venue, honestly. Like when I hosted Fort Worth last year, we ended up getting 32, but wouldn't have much room for too many more than that. I don't think. Might have even been the cap, and then the cap here is 36, which is like, we gotta have like a 48 because there were more people that wanted to play in this one, so we could have had 40 plus at this event. So yeah, we gotta get a venue or in Austin where we can get like 48 to 64 or something going, because that'd be cool. That's the next step moving forward, I feel. Anyway, for other shoutouts, other names, Smoke a Dragoon. Again, here's my Ride 1 opponent, my ride to the event. He's a Horus player. Shout out to JDZ. JDZ plays Goats. He came from Washington. He's a great guy. A brilliant man. He's an awesome character. Can't say enough good things about him. He's been doing a lot of the Goat content on the goatformy.com page. Like the YouTube side, he commentates over the streams. He's like a one-man army. He's got a family that he still, is taking care of and supporting. So he just loves goats. He just loves goats. He breathes and lives it, loves it. And what a great guy. I gave him I gave him one, and he signed my Share the Pain, and I signed a card for him, and yeah, took a picture, just great. Shaggy Powers, or Tyler, he came from, I believe, Florida. That's what I heard. He was what topped Worlds last year, 2022, with Earth Aggro. So he was a big, pioneer to getting him and his team. And he has this long post on Discord. Rognock, my teammate as well. This is Rognock's main deck card for card, and very similar side deck. But they really just pioneered this deck and made it so that it was just good. Bottom line, it's just good. I can't say it's bad. I can't say it's the best deck in the format, but I can tell you it's fun and it's pretty dang good. He was one who mentioned that 40 minutes time is not Yu-Gi-Oh, and yeah, I mean, at least make it 45-minute rounds. That's something I think we should do moving forward. 40 minutes is just for goats, especially if you get into a control mirror. It's just so, if you're top players in the control mirror, I've seen matches take 2 hours. Now, in paper, no one wants to sit, not a big group of people probably want to sit there for 2 hours while someone finishes their round of Swiss, but at least 45, right? Anyway. And then we had AJTBLS, or Adam, again, former ROD member, the #1 ranked Go player, a great guy, awesome to finally meet him in person. He came from Canada, I believe. Great energy, great player. Join Rod, Adam. Come back to Rod. All right. We got Mercenary V, or again, Sean B. I got to meet him again. He came, I thought he wasn't coming, but he came to the Fort Worth one last year and top 8'd. So another top 8. I think he won. I actually don't, I don't know who won. But I believe it was Mercenary. That's what I heard. So I believe it was Adam and Mercenary in the finals, and I believe Mercenary got it. So yeah, it's great to meet him again. And congratulations on, I believe, your belt of the Goat Grand Prix. If it wasn't you and it was Adam again, congratulations, Adam. Even though you don't need another win of these, I don't think. I mean, obviously, it feels good to win, but yeah, congratulations to, again, I believe Sean got it. So that's an awesome thing to have. The Matt and the World's Invite unlock. Then OG Betchy 21, or Jesus, got to meet him again. He got second place at the Fort Worth one last year. He came from Mexico. This time we brought some teammates, like the Orcs, or Giant Orcs, something that's on their shirts. Very, very awesome people. So yeah, it was great to get to see him, Jesus, again. We didn't, talk as much as wanted, but there's just so many people. But yeah, it's great to see him. Great, he almost topped. So yeah, wish you could have made it, man. But hey, you'll get him next time, like you did before. And then we have El Wizard, a nice guy. I never heard of his Discord, I don't think, before, but other people had. So it's cool to see him and we get to play and get him twice in the tournament. I got him and he got me, and that was that. We had Yada88. Great to meet him in person. Also, he's the double tap king. Mataza the Zapper equips type beat. We talked a bit about deck tech. He was talking about Bing Bang Shot, and yeah, it was a nice little talk we had. Just we both like aggro strategies, so that was yeah, great guy. He did like I think 12 to 13k or something damage with his Mataza or something. At some point in the tourney is what I heard. So I'm sure more than once. So that's awesome. Then we have Shaggy Power. Sorry. Shaggy Power's top 8 opponent. I actually can't remember his name, but he said he either liked or was going to check out my channel. I think someone mentioned my Skill Drain Insect deck, which was really cool. That they saw that. I wish I knew his name, but he'll be in the top 8. So I think he'll be the last 5th place. So I got technically 5th, as well as Alan. Shout out to Alan and Vic. We all got to top 8 and then lost our top 8 rounds. So we'll be all considered, I believe, 5th. And the last 5th place guy on the top 8, so not right before top 4, I believe he played Chaos Turbo. That guy. That's his user. That's his name. Great guy. We didn't talk too much, but yeah, just looked like a pretty strong opponent. I saw him dueling against Shaggy Powers in the top 8. They were next to me. And then we had a Goat Warrior player from Florida. Oh, they follow me on Instagram. I can't remember is it Daniel? Man, I'm bad with names. But you know who you are. You came and you liked the deck. Your deck was pretty nice too. It was like a Goat Warrior control, I think, kind of deck, and it was pretty cool. He decided to poison the old man in time, which is and walks. He also had walks, but yeah, it was cool to see. Shout out to Michael G. He bought a couple cards from me. He came. I think he's in San Antonio if I remember, so he wasn't too far. So it was great to. He came down, I believe, for his birthday, and I think he said he had a pretty good time. So yeah, shout out to you, Michael G. Shout out to Slash Tap or Johnny Lee. It was great to meet him. Legend in the goat scene. Just a great player and good. Man, what's the word? Philosophy, I guess, on the game. And then we had MMF. I believe Matt is his real life name. I hope I'm not getting that wrong. He was the head judge. It was awesome to meet him as well. Yeah, shout out to MMF. Definitely pretty big on the Discord as well. He's been around. I believe he said for like 20 years, like in Yugioh. So very knowledgeable, very kind man. And then we have Chef CCTV. I want to shout him out again. He was helped with the stream setup and putting like that together. He helped stream last year at Fort Worth. Well, he was actually our head judge at that event, and he commentated a little. And yeah, Chef CCTV. Check out his streams. I don't think too much Yu-Gi-Oh unless he's helping someone out with Yu-Gi-Oh, right? So just a great guy. Then the last shout out, everyone from the local ATX scene. You know who you are. A lot of names that I could list there, but this video is already a bit longer than I intended as usual. And I've said that like twice, so we need to just shut up and get on with it, right? So anyway, yeah, Alan and Vic for getting their tops. That's awesome. Alan went, I believe, basically undefeated in Swiss with AJT's list from FLC 26. His video is already up on thegoatformat.com as well. And I think Vic's is going to be up today. This is Wednesday, June 14th, I believe, that I'm uploading and about to post this. So, Yeah, so many great people in this community. Um, just, I know I hardly upload anymore. Um, my passion for goats was on a little down, but the Grand Prix definitely spiked it up a bit again. But I still am going to be, in school in the fall and the spring, just university, getting my career. I got to get my life together, before I just keep playing. Can't play Yu-Gi-Oh all day when I got to get stuff going, in the real world of sorts. And the goat world. The good thing is the goat world will be here for me. I'm pretty sure, right? 5, 10 years from now, when I hopefully can, you know, if I feel like doing so, investing a good amount more time into content and into the game. So, yeah, it's just a great community. Love you guys, and don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. I think I've said enough in this video. It's great. Bye.